It's Friday, June 4. This is the news on PBCJ. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. The Health Ministry will be hosting a special vaccination blitz this Saturday at the National Arena from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. The ministry says the blitz is intended to provide the second dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine to the more than 600 Jamaicans who received their first dose of the vaccine in March and have a due date of June 5. Persons who are 65 years and older are allowed to be accompanied by one caregiver at the vaccination site. Persons wishing to be vaccinated are reminded that they must make an appointment through the ministry's website at www.moh.gov.jm or through the National Vaccination Hotline at 888-1-LOVE. That's 888-663-5683. 3,000 hotel rooms are to be built over the next few months. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett made the confirmation while speaking at a recent virtual groundbreaking ceremony for the new Sandals Duns River Resort in St. Anne. The minister also said that he recently concluded arrangements with Spain for another 1,000 rooms. He said that of the 1,000 rooms, 700 will be constructed in Richmond and another 280 rooms in Montego Bay. In the meantime, Mr. Bartlett indicated that Jamaica's tourism sector is undergoing a renewal process and that this new tourism is going to drive a greater level of inclusiveness that will further benefit the local economy. Talks are ongoing between the government and stakeholders in the entertainment industry aimed at agreeing on protocols that could facilitate a limited reopening of the industry during the summer. Prime Minister Andrew Holness made the disclosure in Parliament this week.
I would like to address the entertainment community. This government does not see entertainment as only fun. We understand that entertainment is an industry. It is a business for many, and they have invested heavily in their business. We have tried to find ways within the public health science to accommodate these kinds of events and gatherings. I want to say to the entertainment community, now is the time to plan. Now is the time to develop a new strategy for delivering your product. Because when the lockdown over, I don't think you're going to have a hand to manage parties and concerts. I don't want the entertainment sector to feel that there is no sympathy for them or that we are blaming them. That is not the case. The nature of their industry is such that we just have to be very careful with it. I personally believe that there are some measures that can be put in place. The question is whether or not those measures would make the business economically viable. And so greater thought needs to be put into that. There are persons who say, well, just only approve open-air events. Just keep them within the time of the curfew. Everyone who goes in, they have to take a rapid test. Or, you know, they have all kinds of modalities and strategies that are being proposed.
Under the new COVID-19 containment measures announced by the Prime Minister on Tuesday, the ban on events such as concerts, parties, tailgate parties and round robins will continue until June 30.
What the pandemic has revealed is that we need to reconfigure our society. We need to sit with the stakeholders and say we can build a new Jamaica, a Jamaica in which your entertainment can be accommodated, and if you want to party from 5 a.m. to 5 a.m. the next day, well, let us find a space for you to do that. On Saturday, I had a very useful meeting with some representatives of the entertainment sector. We intend to have a series of such meetings in the coming week, up to next week, and that will include cinema operators, party promoters, selectors, all the stakeholders, because we did it the last time. They put protocols, they suggested protocols, ODPM worked with them, Ministry of Local Government worked with them, the Minister of Entertainment. came up with a plan, but it wasn't always followed strictly. This time we're going to go through another process of meeting with the stakeholders. I'm certain that they have a better understanding of what to do. And so I would say in another 2 weeks, we should be able to come to Parliament with a plan.
Residents of Seaforth, St. Thomas and Weise Road in Bull Bay, St. Andrew are appealing for help in securing the communities surrounding the Johnson and Chalky rivers. The residents are fearful that heavy rain could cause the rivers to overflow and flood the areas. Our news team paid a visit to the communities this week. Back in 2005, flood waters caused the eastern bank of the Chalky River to collapse, blocking Weise Road and cutting off access to all communities within the vicinity. This year, residents fear it could happen again, putting lives at risk.
The rain constantly eating off the ground and the nearby house them. We are in problem and we have little children, big people, young, elderly. So Mr. Prime Minister, I'm asking you please, I'm asking the opposition leader please, I'm asking the whole corporate Jamaica please, and thanks and manners and love, if you could volunteer what you have for us to fix, because we are in difficult help and we don't want what happened 2005 in the day reflect us back in the night, because many people are got in desperate trouble and cried, and we don't want that to reach. Then you come assist us.
May I beg the government to see if they can save a life from the flood if it come.
Councillor for the Seaforth Division, Joan Spencer, explains that the infrastructure put in place is not enough to prevent the water from flooding the riverbank.
As you can see, the river is of great concern to us in the community. From Moody Lane straight down, there is no proper infrastructure in place. There is no ground to hold the water. And at this section is pure sand and dirt. Two rivers meet here. One is coming from Danvers Pen, and this one that is coming straight up from hillside, coming straight down. And if we have heavy showers, we are going to be in problem. They said that we're supposed to have an active hurricane season this year. And let me tell you something, we are in serious problem. The community will be washed away if attention is not given to this area.
She says the relevant authorities have toured the areas in recent times and some work was done.
Several months ago, the Member of Parliament and NWA and myself, we had toured the riverbank straight up, and they had promised that something will be done. And all I see is that they push up some sand. The sand alone cannot help. Pushing up the sand alone cannot help. We need some solid work to be done here now.
In Bull Bay, St. Andrew, residents are fearing the repeat of what happened last November when the Chalky River overflowed its banks, flooding houses. Its strong current moving cars, like the one behind this resident, Henry Lewis. He says he would relocate, but not without help.
I'm thinking about right now we'll relocate unless we get some land and support. We can't, at the end of the day, we cannot run and leave the premises.
This resident says she's still repairing her home from flood damage last year, and she's worried about what could happen in the hurricane season this year.
Just need them to come and clean the riverbed properly, take away those wastes that they bank up on the banking and clean it so they see the grind, because the grind is there. They are saying from back then in last year there is no grind, and there is grind there. It's just that they're not digging it out, they're not cleaning the riverbed properly. And they can't be breaking the bankings and expect it's not going to cause a flood. You need to enter from the bottom of the sea level down there, where the bottom of the bridge is. The bridge is down at the bottom there, and then they take it from there and come straight up. All those waste sand that they're digging out, it's madness. Putting it up on the banking, it's going to all collapse back when the heavy rain comes back down. You understand? And these are the things I'm trying to recuperate from this flood out same way. And it takes time, it takes money, and we are not getting no help.
The hurricane season, which lasts from June 1 to November 30, is expected to have above normal systems this year, with approximately 20 tropical storms, with 10 becoming hurricanes, of which 6 is forecast as major. Work will soon begin on a new police station in Bull Bay, St. Andrew. While the final design details are still being drafted, Minister of National Security Dr. Horace Chang says the facility will boast a better operational layout. The present Bull Bay Police Station in St. Andrew, which was built with a cut stone finish, dates back to the 1800s. The new station will be built close to the present location on the picturesque shoreline of eastern St. Andrew. The Jamaican economy is projected to see growth within the range of 7% to 9% during the April to June 2021 quarter. We get this story plus all the news and market updates in this extended edition of the Business Report.
The Jamaican economy is projected to see growth within the range of 7% to 9% during the April to June 2021 quarter. Director General of the Planning Institute of Jamaica, Pbcj, Dr. Wayne Henry, made the announcement Wednesday during the Institute's quarterly review of economic performance. Dr. Henry says this projected growth is dependent on the relaxation of some COVID-19 containment measures relative to the lockdown, which occurred in the corresponding quarter of 2020.
Preliminary data for the April to June 2021 quarter has indicated some positive movements which support this projection. Airport arrivals for April 2021 totaled approximately 83,000 visitors compared to none recorded in April 2020. Water consumption for April 2021 grew by 2.2% relative to April 2020.
On the downside, he said the official commencement of the hurricane season poses a risk to economic performance, as well as a slower than expected rollout of the COVID-19 vaccine globally and locally. The Director General also projected growth within the range of 4% to 8% for the 2021-22 fiscal year.
In addition to the factors expected to influence the April to June 2021 quarter, the performance of the fiscal year will be influenced by the gradual relaxation of measures globally that restrict the movement of persons, as countries seek to attain herd immunity through continued rollout of vaccination programs. This augurs well for the world economy and a strengthening of external demand for Jamaica's goods and services.
The PIOJ also reported an estimated 5.7% contraction in Jamaica's gross domestic product (GDP). The goods-producing industry saw growth of an estimated 3%, driven by expansions in the mining, quarrying, and construction sectors. Output of the agriculture, forestry, and fishing industry fell by approximately 2%, owing to the impact of flood conditions in the previous quarter. In the meantime, the construction sector saw growth of an estimated 12.6%. Hotels and restaurants suffered the heaviest loss with an estimated contraction of 56.2%. As at January 2021, Jamaica's unemployment rate stood at 8.9%. The labor force survey undertaken by the Statistical Institute of Jamaica indicated that figure is 1.5 percentage points higher than the rate recorded for the same period in 2020. Dr. Henry addressed the figures.
The number of persons employed decreased by 74,300 persons to 1,194,800 persons relative to January 2020. There was a decrease in the labor force by 58,600 persons to 1,301,900.
He says an examination of the employed labor force by industry group as at January 2021 revealed that 9 of the 15 industry groups recorded lower employment levels.
The largest declines in employment were recorded for accommodation and food service activities, down 27,400 persons, arts, entertainment, recreation, and other services, down 18,800 persons, wholesale and retail trade, down 15,400 persons, and transport and storage, down 9,900 persons.
The Insurance Association of Jamaica, IAJ, has developed and started a pilot run of a database detailing all the insured vehicles in Jamaica. Speaking Wednesday at the IAJ's press brief, President Dr. Adrian Stokes said the database, called the Insurance Vehicle Information System, IVIS, has an expected launch date within 3 months.
When launched, this system will facilitate the TAJ to license motor vehicles without the need to present documents physically at the tax office. This will eventually set the stage for motorists to license their motor vehicles online. The system will also give the police digital access to the insurance status of motor vehicles, which we expect will increase motor insurance compliance, thus reducing the risk posed to road users of having an accident caused by an uninsured motor vehicle.
Dr. Stokes said the bad driving habits of Jamaicans lead to road fatalities and multiple crashes, which impact motor claims.
There were over 44,000 motor claims in 2020, which average out to about 846 claims per week. This keeps our claims handlers busy around the clock. But that's not the most important part of it. Our bad driving habits lead to fatalities on the road and multiple crashes, which in many instances can be avoided.
The IAJ president says the association is lobbying for the passage of the Road Traffic Act with the expectation that improved police enforcement and traffic management technology will see a reduction in road fatalities. In Thursday's trading session, the JSE Combined Index advanced by 5,174 points to close at over 427,000 units. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 91 stocks, of which 54 advanced, 24 declined, and 13 traded firm. The Junior Market Index advanced by 11 points to close at over 3,000 units. Stocks advanced for 138 Student Living Jamaica, AMG Packaging and Paper Limited, and Barita Investments Limited. Stocks declined for 1834 Investments Limited, Berger Paints Jamaica, and Caribbean Cream Limited. Trading firm were CIC 2000 9.5% preference shares, Elite Diagnostics Limited and Epley Limited 8.75% preference shares. Wigton Wind Farm Limited ordinary shares was the volume leader with 2.7 million units, followed by Sagicor Select Funds Limited Financial with 1.6 million units and Fosrich Company Limited with 1.2 million units. In foreign exchange trading for Thursday, June 3, the US dollar sold for an average $149.87. The Canadian dollar ended trading at $125.22. The pound sterling traded for $212.61, and the euro sold for an average $184.15. In market data for oil, Brent crude futures were up 12 cents at $71.50 a barrel, an increase of 0.27%. West Texas Intermediate crude futures rose 22 cents or 0.32% at $69.03 a barrel. And on that note, we close this extended edition of the Business Report Inside the News on PBCJ. I'm Gabrielle Thompson.
Further afield in the Bahamas, COVID-19 vaccines would have to double the amount predicted by the country's health minister, Renward Wells, for the island to reach herd immunity. According to former health minister, Dr. Dwayne Sands, he says the country is way off from that goal. Jasmine Brown of Our News reports.
Dr. Sands acknowledged the fact that thousands of people are showing up to get vaccinated for COVID-19. However, he says thousands more need to get a shot in the arm for the Bahamas to reach herd immunity.
I think we really need to get, in terms of adults, about 250,000 people vaccinated.
On Tuesday, Health Minister Renward Wells told the press that 120,000 people would have to receive the COVID-19 vaccine for the Bahamas to reach herd immunity. So far, however, the government has only secured enough vaccines for 60,000 people. According to the World Health Organization, herd immunity is the indirect protection from an infectious disease that happens when a population is immune either through vaccination or immunity developed through previous infection.
Around the world, I think everybody is trying to get to this very elusive threshold of roughly 80% of adults. If we do a back of the napkin arithmetic calculation, we probably have about 300,000 adults. 80% of them, let's say 240,000 or so. So I think we're quite a ways off from that number. I'm not 100% sure whether the Minister of Health in his comments was suggesting an additional 120,000.
The Bahamas has received 87,200 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine since March. The Bahamas is expected to receive another 33,600 doses through COVAX this month. When it comes to obtaining more doses, Sands says he doesn't believe the Bahamas' difficulty in getting vaccines will last forever.
I believe that as the world supply increases and as the demand in the developed world decreases, that some opportunities will arise. And so perhaps we will have access to Pfizer or Moderna or Johnson & Johnson, just to name a few. We'll probably also have access to Chinese or Sinopharm vaccine or Sputnik and others. That obviously comes with some brand identification issues that Bahamians are very brand conscious. So as time moves on, there will be new and other opportunities.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
In St. Lucia, stray cows have been wreaking havoc on a few farmers' produce. The irate farmer says he has taken all steps to keep the hungry beasts at bay, but to no avail. We get the details in this HTS News Force report.
Roaming cows in Vieux Fort have turned a dream vocation into a nightmare for farmer Andrew Shalry.
I was skilling to try and fix up the fence to try and prevent the cow from coming into my garden. And they still mashing up because the cow is very big cows, you understand?
Shalry, who is part of the Youth Agricultural Entrepreneurial Program, YAEP, has operated a farming enterprise under the banner of the initiative for over 8 years. But now he is heartbroken after a potentially lucrative harvest was ruined by the trampling hoofs of stray bovines on the vast plains of Vieux Fort. The angry farmer also has beef with the authorities.
Trying to seek assistance from the high authorities because the owner of the cows have owners, you understand? And everybody the owner of the cows, you understand? So last time I went to the owner of the cows, it was on Monday after I come from the farm. I go to the owner of the cow. They tell me like they cannot do nothing for me. You understand? Because it's their that come and mash up the cow fence and different things, and it's not their fault the cow is out.
According to the farmer, the owners of the cows have pointed the finger at the Desert Star Holding Company, known as DSH, which commenced a major project in the south, including a horse race track, for the disruption to the fencing that now sees their cows roaming freely. They say the lack of fencing has made it difficult to corral the cattle.
I put barbed wires, they burst in the barbed wires because I don't see they're not seeing the barbed wire, they burst in to enter, you understand? You know, they're not trying to make an effort to block the cows to prevent them from coming my side, you understand? But they still come in, I cannot do it alone, you understand? I don't want to say I will go and buy fence, you understand? I spent over $5,000 already. Because every time they come, they mash up, I have to go back in my own pocket and take my money and invest back again, you understand?
Shalry says he brought his complaints to the police, who referred him to the perennial larceny unit. He alleges that an officer from the unit visited his farm, documented the damage, and informed him that nothing could be done.
And I supposed to harvest on Friday and check the state of my garden right now, you understand?
The farmer continues to battle the bovine assault on his garden while calling on authorities to alleviate his plight. Sulaj Alfred, HTS News Force.
In Trinidad and Tobago, the head of the Homeless Assistance Office, Anthony Salom, has been handed the keys to the ground floor of the Riverside car park, which was previously used as a temporary shelter for the socially displaced. The decision by Port of Spain Mayor Joel Martinez to hand over the keys comes after mediation with Mr. Salom. Sunil Lala of TTT News reports.
2 weeks ago, Social Development Minister Donald Cox handed over the keys to Port of Spain Mayor Joel Martinez for a gated homeless shelter located on the ground floor of the Center for Socially Displaced Persons at Riverside Plaza Car Park. Mr. Martinez was expected to give that to head of the Homeless Assistant Office, Anthony Saloom, but did not do so immediately since the NGO was involved in a court matter against the corporation. But Mr. Martinez says they have come to a resolution which ended with him handing over the keys to Mr. Saloom to begin his work to assist the homeless.
The bottom part of the homeless center now is going to be handed over to Mr. Saloom to really develop a program of which he will be able to assist in getting data and to find out some of the needs and causes of the homeless people who are currently on the street.
Mr. Saloom says he welcomes the move since it is an ideal location for the NGO to assist the homeless.
I've been in operation for about 19 years, mainly on Duncan Street. But then Duncan Street became a little too dangerous for some of the volunteers, and we decided to work through our mobile, through our cars and so on.
Mr. Saloom says he's also eager to update data on the socially displaced via a registration process.
First and foremost is that registration process. And second, and even more important, is work with each one of them on a one-to-one basis to see how we could handle their predicament. And believe me, it is not that difficult.
In February, the Ministry of Social Development closed the temporary shelter that was being used on the ground floor since it said there was enough space at the center for socially displaced persons. Sonolala, TTT News.
The Jamaica Cycling Federation has selected a team of 4 cyclists to represent Jamaica at the 2021 staging of the Pan American Elite Track Cycling Championships, scheduled for June 23 to June 29 in Lima, Peru. The lineup features Dahlia Palmer, the highest-ranked female rider in the Caribbean and the only female representative for the Jamaican team, Brandon Reed, Daniel Palmer, and Zoe Boyd. With the federation not being able to host a formal trial, the riders on the final team were selected based on performances at a track assessment session held earlier this year and their rankings in the 2019 track season. The meet, which was initially scheduled for March 31st to April 7th, was postponed due to a second wave of COVID-19 cases in Peru. The new date was announced with very little time for the team to prepare. Last week, the Jamaica Cycling Federation received approval for the resumption of formal training and competition events under the Disaster Risk Management Act. The Pan American Elite Track Cycling Championships are a qualifier for the Commonwealth and the Central America and Caribbean Games. And with that, we bring an end to today's package. You've just watched the news on PBCJ, the People's Station.